Yorm just told me he's going to an Indigo Girls concert, Seth.
Yeah, I heard.
That's why I got to go.
I had an interesting conversation with our friend Kate McKinnon. We were shooting together in foggy London town. And I was talking about how growing up in Berkeley, it was crazy to me when I found out that Indigo Girls weren't like the biggest stars in the universe.
Yeah, that's very Berkeley.
And summer camp in Berkeley. And like, but would be like, yeah, you know, like that Indigo Girls song, that Ani DeFranco song. And people would be like, what? Be like, are you fucking from planet Earth?
On that same tip, Andy, do you remember when I came back from my junior year abroad in England and I had an argument with you guys about if Limp Bizkit was bigger than Oasis? And I was like, Oasis is the biggest band on the planet.
Oh, right.
They're the biggest, like they're massive, dude. And you guys were like, no, like you don't understand. You've been in England.
We were like, no, they are very popular, but you are seeing it through the lens of England.
Yeah,
they're
like
the
every
biggest
bar,
deal
like singing along to it, and then it was like Limp Bizkit had sold like 10 times more than
when I was shooting that show Cuckoo with Greg Davis in England. We would talk about this because there, Dizzy Rascal was like
huge.
Like Dizzy Rascal was like the closing song, doing the song Bonkers at the opening ceremonies of the Olympics or the closing ceremonies or something.
Yeah.
And everyone in UK was like, and then he did fucking Bonkers. It's the biggest song in the world. And I was like, I've literally never heard this song.
I heard it once, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I feel like I completely missed Limp Bizkit as a thing.
Oh, they're so good.
So tell me if this timeline is right. I moved to Amsterdam April of 97, and I did not return for 2 full years. Is that like height of Limp Bizkit?
Probably. I thought you said you missed them.
Oh, no. I missed them as a cultural moment.
Got it.
Yeah.
I clearly did as well. Yeah, I think it was in there.
I did not miss the Indigo Girls. And I would like to say I had the Indigo Girls on my show and chatted with them.
And
they were good times.
I would love it if you were like, and they were such assholes.
They were really hard people to deal with.
They bullied the frig out of me.
It was very out of line with the way their music makes me feel. And that's what I didn't like.
Which is inspired and floating on the wings of eagles.
I just was downstairs and my wife Liz is on a Zoom with Polar. That's why it took me a little longer to jump on here, but it was delightful. I got carried away talking to Polar and she was being very kind about this podcast.
Polar likes this podcast.
Did she tell you to say anything on the cast that she can then hear later if she listens to it?
She didn't give me an Easter egg to herself.
What about this? Like what we're saying right now.
Yeah.
Like this could be for Amy.
I will say, for those not watching, Keeve is yanking on his earlobe super hard. So I think that might be his special message. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now she knows.
I'll name drop since we're doing it, since Keeve's all like, guess who I just saw? I saw Wig last night.
Oh, nice.
Oh, in real life.
In real life. And Wig showed me a trailer to a movie I'm very excited to see. I'm curious if anybody here has seen it, which is the documentary Will and Harper.
I still haven't
can't
seen
wait
it,
to see
and
it.
I keep hearing how great it is.
I can't wait to see it. I saw the trailer myself last night. Once again, not to name drop, but Liz, my wife, has seen it, and she loved it. She came home raving about it.
We've talked about Harper Steele was a writer who wrote Young Chuck Norris.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is going to come up again over the course of this podcast. This is a documentary that's coming out in September. Will Ferrell and Harper were incredibly close friends and wrote together. Started, I think, at the same time at SNL. Harper transitioned a couple years ago, and this is a documentary about their road trip, and Harper sort of explaining that journey to one of her oldest friends. And I've just heard amazing things about it.
I think it comes out on the 13th of September, so by the time this is airing, it might be out.
It might.
And Wig sings a song in it, apparently?
I believe, yeah. I've heard that Wig sings the closing song.
And it's great.
That might be a spoiler.
Or just something to get people to tune in.
It could be.
It's going to be on Netflix as well, if we're promoting it.
Yeah.
That's also a spoiler.
I'm going to have Will and Harper on my show. Spoiler.
Spoiler, they're going to be on your show. Spoiler, it's on Netflix.
It's the Lonely Island and Seth Meyers podcast.
This is a historically significant show, The Brian Williams Show. I should start by saying you guys did not off the bat remember if you'd even made a short for the show.
I remembered this.
No.
Okay.
We didn't?
I also want to know why it's historically significant. Why?
It is the last show before the 07-08 writer's strike.
Oh, before the strike.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We found out at the party the strike was official.
I didn't know that.
And I remember it was a really fun show. And again, the season had just started, right? We're in the basking in the glow of I Ran So Far and people getting punched before eating. MacGruber.
Just before.
Everybody's Yeah.
Yeah, we're all killing it.
Everybody's on cloud 9. It's an and golden era. You don't want to mess with those. But at the same time, it was the time of a strike. And it was 100-day. We took a 100-day break. I will say, I believe Bill Hader and I cranked out an issue of Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Which was allowed. And that still exists.
I also did a comic book during the most recent one.
Oh, nice. And I believe that the strike also allowed me to play Chaka and Land of the Lost.
Wow. It was the most depressing 100 days because my entire life was the job. And I loved it so much. I hated it. Also, we partied so fucking hard.
It was a good time for me. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the strike time.
Much needed break.
I felt guilty about how much we were happy to have a break. I remember us being like, ooh, we get a break. And everybody being like, this sucks. And it's being like, yeah, it sucks. And then privately being like, hee, we get a break.
Like, it's nice to relax. Anyway, Seth walked away, but I'll just tell you guys.
Finally.
During the strike, I started playing soccer again at Chelsea Piers on an indoor soccer team with Julian Casablancas of the Strokes.
Yeah.
And some other rad dudes. And we won the fucking league.
Whoa, I didn't remember you won. That's pretty exciting.
Are you being super excited about this? How good is Julian at soccer? Is he pretty dope?
He's pretty good.
He's tall. I bet you he can kind of move fast.
Who's that?
Oh, sorry, Seth. Are you back?
Yeah, sorry. Who's tall?
Julian at soccer.
Oh, yeah.
So during the strike, there was the one thing we all did, which was the thing Amy put together.
Mm-hmm.
Amy, who's on the Zoom downstairs, not to name drop. But anyways, it was the strike show, which was okay with the WGA and okay with NBC, and it was at UCB.
Oh, the UCB strike show.
Yeah.
Was there a doc recently or something? Where did I see people?
I talked about it with Michael Cera on my show.
Got it, but that was.
And I hadn't talked about it for a long time because Michael Cera was the host.
Oh, right.
I also want to say the musical guest. Do you guys remember the musical guest?
For the Brian Williams show?
Yeah.
Spoon. No?
No. Feist.
We like the Feist.
Yeah.
I love the Feist. And both those songs really hold up for me.
Did she do 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel it all. I'm looking at it now.
Feist fucking rules, and her most recent album also fucking rules.
And you know what else fucking rules? NPR Tiny Desk concerts, and she just did one of those.
Yeah.
And if you've never seen an NPR Tiny Desk concert, it is one of the best things on YouTube. Feist just did one off the new album, and it's great.
Oh, nice.
Well, great.
Good plug.
What's up, Feist?
What's up, Feist? We miss you, Feist.
Definitely a listener.
It is November 6th, 2007. It is a year away from the 2008 election. The opening sketch is a Halloween sketch that I wrote. And I think it is technically the Halloween show because it's so much closer to Halloween than whatever, October 13th, when you guys did your zombie thing.
He won't give this up.
The fact that it starts with a Halloween cold open does make it seem like this is the Halloween episode.
This is the Halloween show.
Luckily, when we talked about that last week on last week's episode, we kind of closed the book on that. And
no, I'm
we
reopening it
decided,
because I feel like you guys were pretty hard on me for saying it wasn't the Halloween show. So I just want to say, like, the very next episode was, in fact, a Halloween themed show.
Seth, now that you're mentioning it, I remember us being hard on you about that.
Yeah. We were like, why are you doing Halloween?
Remember, I know it's been a week.
Yeah. Now I'm like, maybe we were a little harsh.
So this is a very special memory because I remember, obviously, Klein was new. Now Klein is such a big part of my memory of SNL. It's hard to remember he was new. Do you remember our first nickname for Klein?
Harvard, maybe?
Flip-flop.
Oh.
You know why I called him Flip-flop?
Because he
wore flip-flops to work?
He wore flip-flops to his first day of work.
Oh, that's right. That's a strong choice.
This is writer Rob Klein, our dear bud.
Dear bud. And he wore flip-flops to his first day of work. And I had a real, I mean, I know it's not a regular job,
First day is not a good call. He's like, I'm going to set the tone right out the gate. It's the flip-flops.
That means he probably went on the subway in flip-flops with his toes out.
Although knowing Klein, Ori was like, I just walked in. He would be a guy who would just as believably walk 3 hours if it was a nice day. Very chill guy. Very good match for Sandberg later creatively. We'll get into that. But this was a late in the game, either a Friday, or I think it was a Friday night, you guys. We wrote in my dressing room, myself and Jost and Klein wrote a Halloween cold open where it was all the Democratic candidates. And it was being hosted at the Clintons' house.
Oh.
And it was Amy as Hillary, Daryl as Bill. Simon Rich played Dennis Kucinich.
Oh, that's perfect.
Just on a cutaway. But Do you remember who came in wearing a Barack Obama Halloween mask?
Barack Obama himself.
Barack Obama did a cameo in this show.
Hello, Hillary. Hello, Bill.
Nice to see you.
Yes, nice to see you, Barack. So you dressed as yourself?
Well, you know, Hillary, I have nothing to hide. I enjoy being myself. I'm not going to change who I am just because it's Halloween.
Well, that's great.
It was the first time I met Barack Obama. And I've told this story a lot, but it bears repeating. Two very funny things about Barack Obama that he did. I walked into his room to explain the sketch that we'd written. And he was sitting and reading a very impressive book. I don't remember the book, but I just remember thinking, oh. And he was holding it upside down. No, he was reading a very impressive book. And I came in, I'm like, hey, it's great to meet you. And I said, I'm from New Hampshire. And he went, oh, New Hampshire. And he stood up, which was really funny. Like being the first primary state was very funny. But also, I did think this was a good thing to tell him. Looking back, it wasn't until I said it that I realized it wasn't. He comes in wearing a Barack Obama Halloween mask and takes it off to reveal he's Barack Obama. And I said to him, so that's the idea. And if it's too hard to get off the mask, we'll come up with something easier. And he said some version of, I think you'll find I can take off a Halloween mask. And I was like, right. And sure enough. And then when I watched the sketch, really no problem at all.
No difficulty.
Takes it right off.
Yeah, like he was a Ethan Hunt.
Really? Ethan Hunt?
Yeah.
Good reference. I would say that about Barack being there, that was one of the greatest things about being at the show. Because I remember just being in the hallway on 8H, I can't remember what day, but he was rehearsing, and just being like, oh, and it's just Barack Obama coming down. I was just like, put out my hand like, hey, how's it going, man? And he was like, hey, how's it going?
I do vividly remember him being there and everyone meeting him, and someone was like, did you meet Obama? And I remember being like, no, man, I don't care about that. I don't care about politics. I don't want to, whatever. And then he became president, and I was like, fuck, I should have met him.
The thing I remember is the way the audience reacted when he was there. It was the first time I thought, oh,
right, they're
he's gonna
super
win.
hyped. Yeah, he could win, yeah.
Because again, I think the conventional wisdom back then was it was Hillary's. And I would have been very happy with that. But there was a real magnetic energy in the room when he showed up.
Yeah, no, that guy sweats charisma.
Seth, how many presidents have you met?
Biden, Trump, Obama. I guess that's it.
No Bill?
Not Clinton?
Sorry, wait, no, wait. That's just no. Oh, yeah, Bill. Sorry, of course, Bill. Oh, that's 4.
Cool.
Pretty good. Better than most Americans.
Yeah, it's good. Brian Williams, a very good host. He was everything you want a host outside of the realm of actor to be. He was LeBron-y good. And I think we all knew, having met him around, I certainly knew by the time he hosted that he would be very good as a host. And he had done ASCAT, which was the UCB Sunday night show. We had invited him to be the monologist, but it had been a surprise that his wife Jane and his kids had planned to surprise him. So it was actually a birthday party for him. And I could tell he was a little bummed. He was like, kind of wanted to do monologues. But he gave a monologue that night that basically I then transcribed for his monologue. So he's very funny in the monologue, but it's also all his words and all his jokes.
Is it fair to call Brian a comedy nerd? Because I kind of would.
Oh, 100%.
It's just weird to call a man of that stature a comedy nerd.
But he definitely watched the show and was a fan of the show and knew exactly what he was doing and was knew how to be a straight man when it was called for. And I really enjoyed watching him.
Gravitas is such a key tool for some hosts in the Alec Baldwin, John Hamm category. And a news anchor needs a lot of gravitas.
And he's got it.
He was also respectful of his position as a newscaster, because I do remember him being like, certain things I cannot do.
An interesting sketch that got cut was him and Will Forte, a two-hander. Do you remember who they played?
Nope.
No memory. The opening Don Pardo voiceover was, And now, a couple minutes in the van with Willie Nelson and Julio Iglesias.
Oh, I was right about to guess that.
It starts with the two of them singing to all the girls we've loved before, who've traveled in and out. And I will say, that's like a impression Forte thinks he has. And Julio Iglesias was an impression that Brian Williams definitely didn't have, but it was fun to watch him do it. I don't remember it going well enough to even be in the conversation between Dress and Air, but I do remember how it looked, and it was one of those things that made me happy to think back on.
When he hosted, is this before or after Yorm was on Girls?
Before.
This is definitely before.
I do think there's a value sometimes in me dryly reading a Forte sketch, and that's what I'd like to do now for Willie and Julio.
Okay.
Great. Wonderful.
It opens with the two of them in the van, and they're singing To All the Girls We've Loved Before, which is a famous song they sang together. And Will says, as Willie Nelson, "Whoa, Julio, that was 2 coats of wonderful. This is Brian Williams. This is NBC News anchor Brian Williams. Gracias, Willie. You are a true amigo. And I could sing this canción, this song, every day for the rest of mi vida. Well, I might hold you to that." And then Will starts singing again. And then Brian says, No, Willie. Oh, no, do not sing. Let's just enjoy the landscape of Nebraska for a while. Will: "So, Jewel, you're probably wondering why I asked you here today. No, actually, I was not. You ever heard of biodiesel?" "Biodiesel? Sure, of course, Willie. I run my television and dishwasher on biodiesel." "Well, now, Jewel, see, appliances like that usually run on electricity. Willie, you've caught me in a lie. I've never heard of biodiesel. And I would love to hear all about it." Will: "Well, biodiesel is a clean-burning renewable diesel fuel replacement made from..." "Willie, I'm afraid you've caught me in another lie. I have no interest whatsoever in this biodiesel. What I do have interest in is a very slender woman I just saw on the side of the road. So if you could just pull over." Will: "Now, hang on there, amigo. I think this biodiesel could really change the world for the better. I mean, guess what this van runs on?" "Biodiesel?" "Close. Biodiesel." "I just said that, Willie. Now you're getting it. So I was thinking we could put together a duet that could get the word out on you-know-what." "Biodiesel?"
What?
Jesus.
I mean, I'm going to stop now, but it's really funny to think of the two. So that's very novel casting by Forte.
Very.
And then it's the theme of the sketch is
And Solomon.
John Solomon's name on this as well.
He should also go down with the ship.
Also, we're going to get to it a year from now. One of the great sketches in our time at the show is Jeff Montgomery. Would you agree?
Yeah,
I love
get
it.
that.
It was originally written for this week, and Brian Williams. I had no memory of that.
Oh, did it go to Dress?
Went to Dress. And I think maybe Brian Williams was like, I don't know. I don't think I can do this one.
Is he a bit of a sex offender in it? I'm trying to remember what that one is.
No, Will is a Jeff Montgomery registered sex offender, but he's trying to pass it off
As
as
his
a Halloween
Halloween
costume.
costume.
Yeah. I actually do have a little memory of him like drawing the line there to Yorm's
Yeah, he's like,
point
yeah.
of like, hey, there's some things that I don't want to be close to.
He was smart.
And there was
He
one
knew
in the short that we did too. That was just a small thing about his anchor desk. If we're ready to segue into it.
Yeah, segue on in.
There was some joke in it that I can't remember, but we were like, will you say it behind the anchor desk? And he's like, I don't want to sit. He's like, I think there's something kind of, I forget what word he used, but meaning that there's a value to the desk, meaning it's a place for like the truth. And so I don't want to besmirch it by sitting behind it and doing a goof off.
Yes, he could stand, right? But he just couldn't do it from the desk.
Yeah, he just didn't want to do it from the actual spot. And I was like, yeah, I respect that.
It was like an inverted Seth.
Yeah. Whereas I'll do fucking whatever you want at
He's
desk.
like, I need this to be behind the desk.
Yes. Support comes from Liquid Death. Hey, it's Kiva here. You know, I haven't done an ad for the podcast yet, but I had to step up for this one because it means so much to me. It's something I care a lot about, and it's called Liquid Death. What is Liquid Death? Well, it may look like a beer or some crazy energy drink, but it's not. Liquid Death is actually a healthy beverage brand that makes mountain spring water, low sugar flavored sparkling water, and low sugar iced teas too. Okay, but why would a healthy beverage ever be called Liquid Death? Because Liquid Death will brutally murder your thirst, and their infinitely recyclable cans are helping to bring death to single-use plastic bottles. Sometimes I'll just grab a Liquid Death just to freak out Andy and Yorm, and I'll just like walk into a meeting at like 8 a.m. and I'm just drinking one, and they're like, Keith, oh my God, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm getting so messed up. And then I'm like, guys, it's just water. And they're like, you lied to us. It's pretty good. You can get free shipping of Liquid Death's mountain water, flavored sparkling, and iced tea 8-packs with Amazon Prime. Or grab a can or a case at your local 7-Eleven, Target, Walmart, Whole Foods, or on Instacart. Go to liquiddeath.com/island to check out all their healthy, infinitely recyclable beverages and find your closest retailer. That's liquiddeath.com/island. liquiddeath.com/island.
Brian Diaries. It is Brian Williams talking us through his day. Some very nice jokes. I've got a favorite. Do you want to lay it out for us, Keith?
Yeah, I remember us just always somewhere. It was one of those ideas that I just had always wanted to do one like it, or all of us did. That was just a day in the life, like little doc. I guess kind of vaguely in the spirit of even the old Eddie Murphy White Like Me sketch.
Mm-hmm. And some of the Albert Brooks stuff too, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. There's just the tone of this kind of thing we hadn't touched yet. And we had been kind of looking to do something like this. And I don't know how we came to it that week, but I remember being happy we did. I'm pulling it up right now to remember it a little better. I watched it, but...
It leans into the idea, which is fun for him to play, that he's very arrogant.
Yes.
Which is delightful to watch. He says he likes to eat in the commissary with all the staff.
Right, but he has like his own table.
Like a velvet rope around a dining cloth table.
And a security guard.
It's a sweet kind of sad arrogance, though.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like sort of a pathetic arrogance.
Right.
Is the voicemail joke he leaves for himself, is that yours?
I don't know if it is or not. Again, my memory for these things is soft. He likes to stand outside the building to get recognized. Somebody calls him Stone Phillips. He does a very nice move where he's sort of clapping his hands while he's waiting. It comes off as very vulnerable.
I think that's our wardrobe guy, Brian, that just walked by and said Stone Phillips.
Yeah, and then in VO, after he's called Stone Phillips, he says, close enough.
Yes, does not dissuade him. Very cocky.
Very sad.
I think he had a lot of good jokes for this, if I recall.
I really like this. He goes to the gym and he's wearing rollerblades on the treadmill, which is just a fun visual joke that works.
Keith, was it Dina Moles behind the desk?
Yeah, at the real SNL reception desk, we have Dina Moles, who helped produce every short ever.
Yep. Shout out Dina.
Yep.
So much work. She still works there, and she still is producing films.
Yep. Produces all the shorts still.
He leaves a message on his phone to somebody, or he leaves a message on someone else's phone that they're the best at what they do.
When it's all over, I pack up my stuff, check my voicemail one last time, and head home.
First new voice message.
Hey, you. I know you had a tough day, but you got through it because you're the best there is. You're a winner, and I love you.
I love you too.
I got a favorite bit in this, which is he just throws pennies out the window.
Oh, yeah. We did a little Today Show cameo.
He wouldn't do anything behind the news desk, but he would show himself chucking pennies out of Rockefeller Center.
And then you got a very good shot of Roker and Lauer getting hit with pennies. Yeah. And they're both very funny.
So much of what we do in the news business is serious. Sometimes I find it's healthy to take a break and have a little fun.
The morning duo. New book out. It's called Fun with Eggs. I mean, what is that? What kind of an asshole throws pennies from a building?
I remember being so pleased because they did it in front of the real Today Show audience and everything. So it just looks real because it is.
He likes to watch old episodes of his own show. Also very fun. He's also just got good comedy gravitas face.
Oh, here's something I remember. So there's a bit in this thing where he's doing meditation for a while. And he was like, yo, I was on the phone with Bono. He's willing to do a cameo, but he can't be there for the real show. Could we work him into this? And it's like, oh my God, Bono. So we made it that Bono's the vision he's having.
I also like to calm my nerves by practicing the ancient art of meditation.
Oh yeah, looking good, Brian. You're way cooler than me. I'd do anything to be you.
Thanks, Bono.
I just remember having a lovely time with him when we recorded. And I was like, this is huge. I got Bono in this short. And then it was the first time I realized that for a live audience, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, explaining how the live audience watches these on TVs. So it's not like being in a movie theater where it's rocking the house. It's kind of small on a TV. And then Bono's even smaller on that TV. And you realize it didn't, like if Bono had walked out on that stage, it would get a huge applause break and it would be so exciting. But seeing him there, I was like expecting that to happen. And the audience does not do any of that because it's too far removed.
Yeah.
It's just like you wouldn't applaud to see Bono on a TV. He's just on a TV.
Right.
But it was pretty cool that you got to hang out with him, though.
It was lovely for me, but I was expecting this moment. And then the moment just kind of brushes right past, because he's not even really in the short. He's a fantasy in the short.
Exactly. If it had been like Brian bumps into him backstage or like something at where he works and they had like a scene together, like in extras or something, it would have been a bigger deal.
Something about him being in a fantasy, in a dream, makes it that he's not even really there. It makes it not a cameo somehow.
Yeah, he kind of is just a fantasy.
Exactly. He's not even on the rundown under special guest.
And let me say, this is the same show where people already lost their minds at an Obama cameo. So they're the kind of audience that will get excited to see a celebrity. But you're right. This is just not a way that is exciting for them.
Yeah.
Bono also does a great job selling this fantasy, too.
Yeah.
You're way cooler than me, Brian.
Andy, what was your takeaway when you watched it a couple days ago or whenever you watched it? Was it funnier than you thought? Less funny?
I thought it was like a really solid one that felt perfect for the show and reminded me of like classic older SNL episodes we grew up watching. I liked it more than I remembered because I remember at the time I was like, I'm not in it. No, I'm just kidding. I was like, at the time being like, yeah, it's good. It's not like super crazy hard laughs. But then watching it now in the flow of all of them, I'm like, it was better than it like needed to be.
It reminded me of a nice like Daily Show piece too, because it's just got that classic prepackaged.
It was host service.
Exactly.
It was a very important piece in the puzzle of having a news anchor host the show.
Yeah, it was like, this is what his comedic persona is going to be in this.
Because it also showed both a collaboration and that he was down.
This is interesting. Just totally by chance, John Solomon texted me while we were recording.
Okay.
And I was like, we just totally ripped on your Willie Nelson and Iglesias sketch. And he said, ate shit so hard. And I said, any other info you can impart? And he said, in my recollection, all we had was that he says biodiesel a bunch.
Accurate.
Yeah, right on the money.
Pretty fair memory.
Yeah.
God, it did. That's good to know because I did have a moment today where I thought, oh, I wonder why that didn't go in. That's
And he
why I
said,
did.
which to be fair is more than enough for a 4-minute sketch.
There's something, I'm being genuine here. There's something haunting about watching this episode because I sort of skipped ahead through the whole episode because it has a card for who was supposed to be on the next week. And obviously that week did not happen because of the writer's strike.
Oh, right.
Oh.
And it was The Rock and Amy Winehouse.
Oh, wow.
I want to see that episode real bad.
I know, genuinely haunting to realize,
Wow. We were that close.
What could have happened? Would we have made a song with Amy? That would have been so incredible.
The other one, the next week was supposed to be Jonah Hill, who obviously The Rock hosted again, Jonah Hill hosted again. It was Jonah Hill and Kid Rock.
Oh,
Wow.
Classic pairing.
Insane that they didn't pair The Rock with Kid Rock.
Oh.
Yeah, it seems like a no-brainer.
Just like a father-son duo.
It just makes you so mad. I mean, if it had been The Rock and Kid Rock, would you have written a father-son sketch, Andy?
Yes!
What would you have played in it?
Mama Rock, probably. Or like Rock Dog. I don't know.
Chris Rock.
Yeah, Chris Rock could have come on for sure.
We're going to talk about, because it was, it was a bad time, but it was a formative time. The old writer's strike of '07.
The writer's strike allowed us to go make our first album.
Oh, right.
I wonder when we made the choice to make a record deal and make an album.
Our listeners know how that is, right? When you just decide to make a record deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, why didn't you make a record deal, Seth?
Yeah, you guys talking about it now and saying, oh, it was so fun. I played soccer. We made a record deal. I'm definitely low-key mad.
We were being courted by record labels, Seth, to answer your query.
You were being courted?
Kinda, yeah.
After Lazy Sunday, we had a couple different meetings and we were just like, I don't know when we'd even have time to do a record deal, to make a record. But we knew it was waiting and they had taken us out to like a lunch here or there.
Yeah.
And one time when we were in LA, us and the ladies of the band, the Donnas, went to a party at the Playboy Mansion, courtesy of a record label.
That's right. The only time we ever went.
Yeah, exactly. And Yoram didn't go, and Bill came as the third member of the Lonely Island.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to go.
Yeah.
So.
I have a few very small comments and questions just to round out this episode.
Yeah.
I shouldn't jump ahead, but question for the boys. What is Yorm saying at the end of the second verse of Jack Sparrow where Bolton comes in and interrupts? I know I make you feel crazy with the...
That's me.
That's Andy, isn't it?
Okay.
I did say a full line.
Yeah.
What is it? I don't know what this is.
Because he jumps in with now back to the good part.
I know I make you feel crazy with the boom, 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 because there's these 3 big bass hits in it. And I remember us being like, just record the whole line and then we'll cut it off and have Bolton interrupt it, which is what happens.
This is after the more like to meet you, take you home and fuck you twice guy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
all dressed up with nowhere to run. I know I'll make you feel crazy with the boom, boom, boom.
Oh, right. That's a decent line.
Yeah, it's fun. It was intentionally like
garbage,
fillery, because we knew it was going to get interrupted.
Regular club garbage.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That's so great. I'm very happy that you had a specific answer ready to go. Question for the Lonely Island. I showed my 7-year-old daughter Hot Rod, and now she won't stop doing the Richardson dance and saying, like what you see. How do I make it stop?
That's great.
Chester, damn!
That sounds very funny.
Sounds like a great kid.
Did Chester used to do that when you guys lived together in the dorms at NYU? Did he do that for you? Or when you guys were roommates, Andy?
Yes,
Good.
but by the way, we never lived in the dorms together. We shared a really terrible apartment.
Right.
But yes, and Chester, when the second Chronic album came out, the I Just Want to Fuck You song, every time that beat would start, he would come out of his room when we were all roommates too, in LA. And it became a bit where no matter what was happening in the house, you could put on that song. And Chester would just start coming out of his room and just appear doing the dance. Yeah. And it made me laugh so hard.
That's a really good bit.
Like, oh!
It's a really good bit to have a roommate you can summon. Will we ever get a proper ending for the Boo? I've been hanging on that cliff edge for years.
Oh.
My forearms are so beefy.
Definitely.
Well, I will say this. There was an ending that we wanted to do, which was at one point we wanted to have it be that I'm about to save Sarah Chalk's character. I come in, I'm the fucking hero of the thing. And then the tables turn. Bad guy has a gun on me. And I immediately go, oh, no, man. Fucking kill her instead, man. I fucking pissed my fucking pants. Oh, shit. Oh, kill her, man. we did not do that.
I didn't remember that at all.
God, Yorm, you were so destined to work with Forte. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's exactly his thing.
Just tell me what you want me to fuck.
I don't know what I'm doing.
This is just a fun fact I'd like to end on. Somebody pointed out that the 2005, and I have done no research, okay? 2005 featured players on SNL. Sandberg, Wig, Hader, Sudeikis. A combined 60 Emmy nominations.
Is that right?
I mean, pretty amazing.
Are they all wigs? Oh, and Ted Lasso's?
No, we have a bunch,
Well, no,
guys.
Andy has a bunch.
Oh.
Barry has a bunch. Andy has
You're right. We do have a bunch.
Yeah.
I forgot.
It is very spread out between you guys.
Mine are just not for acting. They're all for writing.
We have at least 6 that were Emmy nominated.
I think so.
I have to look it up.
Do that research. I'm not going to do it.
I think at least 5.
1, 2,
Because one year it
3,
was 3, and then I know there were at least 2 others. But maybe 6? I don't know.
You have 10, Andy.
10 Emmy nominations?
I'm looking now.
That's pretty good,
Yeah,
Andy.
but for writing stuff.
Well, I think you're great.
Oh, you're me. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I've had a lot of mine from just like writing on SNL. Sometimes I'll like do charity events where they don't run my intro by, and they'll say something like, he's been nominated for 29 Emmy Awards and won once. I'm like, don't do that.
So,
just say Emmy-winning writer.
Yeah. Just say it. That would be like if I was coming out and they're like, he's been nominated for 10 Emmys, none for acting.
All writing, but he's promised us he's written what he's about to say. One of my great, though, I mean, look, sometimes life puts you in incredible situations. Andy won a Golden Globe for acting, and I fucking got to hand it to him.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's pretty good.
It was so nice.
It were the best moments of my life. I have that picture in my office.
It was the best.
Yeah, that's best bud shit.
That's really cool.
I want to say one other thing. I remember it was Julie Bowen's job to read the name. And when she saw what it was, she let me read it.
Oh, that's nice.
That's cool.
I liked how quickly she processed, oh, you should read this.
No, that's nice.
Like you're real comfortable at an award show to think that fast. I would be too nervous to like think that fast.
Oh, amazing.
Thank you, Julie Bowen. Thanks for giving us that moment. By the way, I would have been excited even if she had said it.
Really? You would have been like,
oh, sure.
Yeah. I would have gone up there and be like, I mean, this is awesome, but you should have fucking let Seth say it.
You're like, he's my buddy for like a long time.
So,
fucking think fast.
I don't even know you.
I don't even know you, man.
All right. Well, I'm going to say just to whet the appetite, we had a strike. Then we came back, and for the first time, any of us did it, 4 shows in a row that have some of my favorite shorts ever.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Like, eventually you're going to get to this run of 4 where I was blown away because they were so different.
I'm curious now what they were.
But I remember the moment thinking, because you did one each week.
All right.
Well, you guys, that's the end of this episode. And, can't say enough about you as a trio.
Oh,
wow.
Seth.
Well, that's good because we have more episodes.
I want
love
to
you
just say,
guys.
I feel like I was making Yorm laugh a lot today, but he was quietly laughing and I could see him laughing and I'm frustrated that people couldn't
Do
hear.
you want me to be more vocal with my...
Yeah, I want to get my vocal laughs. I want my credit.
He can't laugh because he's based on his chair. He's obviously in an old age home and they're like, keep it down.
Andy loves a high YPM. Yucks per minute from me.
Oh, I love that good YPM.
This episode is still over.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been over.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we love you. Bye.
All right, love you.
Love you.